we're trying to get to that bridge back there, but it's broken. So we just want to find a marina. We're both like really wet, and I'm cold and whiny. And Captain Brandon there is just chilling under the rain. But the water, you can't see, but it's the prettiest color ever. And there's 3 sailboats here. We're all waiting to get through that bridge. It's probably been, what, an hour, maybe?
Yeah, probably. They said there's a maintenance crew there working on it.
Yeah.
We got here, the firemen were there. They're gone now, but maintenance is here now, so hopefully it'll be fixed before long, and we can get on to Crow's Nest.
Yeah, so that's what's going on. So I think we're gonna find a marina, and I'm gonna make lunch because I'm super hungry. And then, I don't know, maybe organize this place a little because it's still quite a mess. So, yeah. And we're getting the internet set up, which is pretty cool. But
Alright, so we've arrived at the Crow's Nest here at the mouth of Venice. And we've decided to stop here because we want to go offshore tomorrow to get down to Boca, instead of taking the ICW, which goes inland. You can't really sail much. So we figured the weather would be alright tomorrow afternoon to make that sail, so we planned to stop here instead of push forth on the ICW. It was raining all morning pretty much. Pretty nasty morning actually. It rained hard for a good bit of the time, just dumping. And then one of the bascule bridges was broken, so we had to sit there and circle for about, I don't know, an hour and a half.
that was fun. I did a little bit of Titanic on top of the, right, with the rain and stuff.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
Yeah, it was glorious. And then we got here, and what happened?
Crow's Nest. We docked with probably a 15-mile-an-hour headwind and a full tide outlet, which is probably a 4 or 5 knot tide going out at this inlet. So it's a really tight tide, and basically I had to motor into the dock to stay without to not.
It was actually pretty impressive, I thought.
Ship out to sea.
I thought it looked pretty cool when you were doing it.
But then as soon as we got here,
then
the sun came out.
Yeah, and so it's great though.
And now we're drying all our stuff on deck.
Yeah, because we got really soaked, and yeah, but basically as soon as we docked, that's the weather right now. So, so I think that was a bad call on me, because Brandon wanted to just go and anchor out somewhere, and I was like, no.
No, it's not. We didn't do that because of this weather. It's because tonight it's supposed to get a little ugly.
Yeah.
And being this is Leia's first night out.
And Bentley's like, get me out of here.
But
I'm gonna go potty. I don't know where Hummer is. Hummer, wanna come say hi? Hi. He's like sleeping under the toilet. It's a great place.
He gets nooked in there well, so he doesn't bounce around.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna go get something to eat or something, and yeah, and then enjoy the sunshine. Probably go walk down there and do something, right?
Mhm.
And that's about it. So I guess we changed our mind. It's just too gorgeous out, and storms are supposed to come in tomorrow, right? So we'd be stuck for more than one. So this is the first time of about time being in open water. So it's just gorgeous out. So beautiful. There's another sailboat out there. And here's Captain Brandon doing his thing, being awesome. And here's me. But yeah, this is awesome. We're trying to make Cayo Costa tonight.
Yeah, Boca Pass.
Pass? Cayo Costa?
Boca Pass.
Oh, the Boca Pass. As you can tell, I have no idea what I'm doing. So. Yeah, but beautiful. Doesn't seem like it could be the same day at all, but it is. So this is what we're doing now. Heading to Boca Pass.
Can't actually say that my darling is enjoying the swells, but we'll get there soon enough. We are about to make Stump Pass. Those, I believe, are the breakers right there for Stump Pass, which I am trying to stay well clear of.
So, last night was very rough, just to put it nicely. We decided to keep going, and then the wind was going against us. It was southeast wind. We were going south, so that wasn't really working. So we went half the speed we thought we would be going. So we tried to go into this inlet that a friend of Brandon's told us that was good, safe harbor. A storm was coming in, so we thought we'd try that. And then we hit those wonderful, well, we did not hit, actually. We just got really close to the sandbars over there. Brandon can tell you a little bit better about it, but yeah, we sat there for about 3 hours rocking and waves over, and there were lots of puking on my part, crying also, and eventually the fire department came in, gave us a little bit of a tow into a safe bay, and now we're just waiting for roadside assistance because our rudder bent or something, which I don't even know what that means. So yeah, that's basically what went on last night, and at least we're in a safe harbor now, and just waiting to get pulled into a marina so we can get that rudder looked at. Brandon's going to dive under and just see what's going on. But yeah, and he's on the phone with the tow guy right now. They were supposed to get us last night, but the storm was so bad that I guess the other guy wasn't able to make it, so we spent a good night's sleep. At least I did. Still a little bit shaken, but I don't know, it was a crazy adventure. But we are at Brandon's parents' home, and Brandon's going to tell us a little bit more about what went on last night, because he explained himself much better than I do. So.
Last night we left Venice Inlet to make for Boca Pass, which is about 21 or 22 miles, which we would have been able to make in time, but the wind picked up. I mean, I misread the forecast, so the wind picked up.
Shame on you.
And we made slow time, so I decided, well, instead of putting Leia through another 4 hours of cruising at night in a storm, which not fun, we went to put in at Stump Pass, which is at Inglewood. Stump Pass is marked as 6 feet on the charts, and it was about an hour before high tide, so we were going in on a rising tide. And I got I got an email from one of my sailing buddies who was in there 3 weeks ago and said that it was clear, and I think his boat was drafting more than mine by a foot or two. But so we went in and we made for Stump Pass. It was just about, I mean, it was actually dark when we got there. Like not 100% dark, but almost.
It was pretty dark.
We came in. The waves at that place, they have a big long breaker wall that's about 1,000 feet out to off of the shore, going due west on the north side of the inlet, and then there's a bunch of sandbars, so they kind of make a box to break the wake from the north, which is where it's usually from. But the storm came out of the south, south by southwest, so instead of it breaking the wake, it actually caught it all and kind of funneled it off of the breakers into the sandbar.
And that's where we were.
The waves were pretty high there, like I'd say 5 to 7 feet, and they were closing in. The wave period was really close. They were getting close to each other because of that funnel. But they were pretty high, probably 5 to 7 feet. So we were coming right in on the pass, and once we got close, we hit the bottom about 3 times on the trough of the waves.
When you're not talking pirate means.
Down a wave, we come surfing down it almost. We're going pretty, it was pretty heavy waves. and you get to the bottom, and when your nose picks up onto the next wave, the butt drops down, and at that point we bang our rudder. We banged it 2 times, and I was just gonna try to turn around, and because we hit pretty hard, we was gonna turn around and try to make for open ocean and cruise the storm anyway. So I turned it, and at that time it hit the 3rd time, and it bent the rudder up right in the position it was in, to where it was locked in place pretty much. Which was probably about 15 or 20 degrees to the starboard side, so it was making us turn to the port, which is directly into the little box of the sandbar and the breakers. So
we start spinning.
Yeah, we started going in circles, we were probably only about 100 yards off of the sandbar when we started circling. So we made about 3 circles. I realized that the rudder wasn't going to come unjammed. So on one of our circles, when we were pointing back into the surf, we threw out the anchor and tied it off. Not really long, fairly short, because we didn't want to back all the way into the beach. Well, not a beach, sandbar. But it drug. I mean, I couldn't back up to sink the anchor. So, but luckily the waves were hitting us pretty hard.
Yeah.
So they backed us up and sunk the anchor in hard. After dragging us in probably 50 yards, maybe a little more, we ended up our anchor stuck hard about when our stern was 30 feet off of the sandbar about. So we were there for a few minutes. Yeah, Leia was getting hysterical. When we were doing the circles, a couple of big breaking waves came over the side and into the cockpit, and some even came over the roof of the boat into the top hatch. So they're fairly large waves. We actually, at that time, I thought maybe my phone was washed overboard or soaked. It was in the cockpit with me, I thought, but I couldn't find it anywhere. Leia's phone was nowhere to be found. Everything inside the cabin was thrown everywhere from taking those waves sideways and from just the waves in general. So we couldn't find our phones, and we were sitting there just getting hammered. I didn't know if we were still scooting back towards the sandbar or if we were caught, whether our anchor was holding. So I was getting a bit nervous. There was, right there in that little box, it was probably, I'll say conservatively, it was 5 to 7 foot breaking waves, with every 10th or 20th wave coming in bigger than that.
Hard.
Leia was again hysterical.
Stop making me sound that bad. I was helpful at some point.
No, I mean it made me think, oh man, better get something quick. So I freaking maydayed on channel 16 to the Coast Guard. I told them my situation and told them that I couldn't get a hold of a tow, and that my phone was probably dead or waterlogged or whatever, and I needed to try to get a hold of Sea Tow or US Tow or Boat US to give me a yank. And they were in the process of doing that, and Leia found her phone in the cabin. So I have the number for Boat US on the wall, so I called them. The guy in that harbor, his boat was too small, so he couldn't come get us. So I called
our insurance.
No, yeah, insurance, and they sent me to Roadside Assistance Automated System for cars. And then so I hung up on that and called Sea Tow at that time. Sea Tow also said their boat wasn't big enough to get into those breaking waves, and they didn't want to capsize, all that good stuff, but that they knew that there was a big boat 6 miles down south of me that would be able to deploy and would be able to pull me out of those breaking waves. So he called that guy. He said he'd call him, and the dude would call me back. I guess the guy called me back about 10 minutes later. He was
wanting $1,200.
Yeah, he was pretty dry, pretty no nonsense at the time. He said he wouldn't take his boat off the dock for $1,200, which, I mean, that's understandable. It was a really bad storm, and actually the guy that I did, once I did get through my insurance and they did finally dispatch somebody, the storm was full on south of us, so it was really, really rough. They were saying about 33 knot winds, and with gusts additional to that, and hail possibly, or tornado funnels maybe, I don't know. Anyways, it wasn't a good storm. So that guy had catastrophic engine failure, getting pushed out of the channel by the storm.
But in the meantime, we were getting helped.
Yeah, in the meantime, those guys, there were some guys, fishing guys on the beach that walked up. I'm sure they saw my lights just flying all over the place, taking those waves. I was actually, every time I'd come up a wave and surf down the next one, my GPS read from 1 mile to 1.5 miles per hour, and then the next wave would come up and yank us on the chain and pull us up the next one and surf down it again, just back and forth. It was pretty nauseating.
I mean, they were really nice because they said they were going to come and help us.
Yeah, the fishermen were cool. They waded out to waist-deep water, which was then about 10 feet off of
Which
our
was
stern.
very confusing to me because I'm in a boat being rocked and like thinking that I'm going to die, and they're just standing right there. So it kind of gave me a little bit of comfort, though, to think that I could just jump out of the water. Yeah. I mean, jump out in the water and get to the sand if I needed to. They
said that they would go get their boat and come back and try to pull me off, and I was like, "Oh yeah, great, man. How many horsepower you got?" It's like, "We got a skiff and it's got 20 horse." And I said, "Don't, dude. Don't risk your boat, because I mean, my boat's a lot heavier than that, and it would have yanked him right under." They stopped there at the other side of the sandbar, and about 5 or 10 minutes later, I saw 2 fire boats.
But this took about 3 hours before
this was
the fire department came to get us.
Probably 2.5 hours after we had the anchor down.
There was a lot of time for me to puke lots and lots.
Yeah, Leia puked a gallon at least. But she got it into a bucket, so that was great. Yeah, the fire guys came up and they said, "You want to tow off of these?" Off of here, and I was like, "Heck yeah, man!" And that would be fan-freaking-tastic. So I got an anchor rod attached to the front mooring cleats and threw them a line. And
we couldn't get the anchor up, though.
Yeah, the anchor, it was unretrievable. It must have sunk really hard in the mud, in the sand there when we were getting knocked back by the waves. Leia tried to pull it up, was unsuccessful, so I went forward, got it up to the chain, and then every time we would get hit by a swell, it would yank the chain out of my hands, so I just tied it off on the T-square.
But anyways, they pulled us out into the bay.
We couldn't get the anchor up. I got it up to the chain, so there was maybe 20 feet of chain down there, so it was only 20 feet down, so it was a pretty good angle where the anchor was. They had two 200s on their boat, so they just pulled us off the anchor and all. Pulled us in across the sandbar, or like around the sandbars, at which point we didn't hit a single time. We got into the bay, and I didn't want them to pull us all the way to the marina, which I did not have any idea which marina we were going to, so I told them my insurance is on the way, guys. I really appreciate your help. They were really awesome. Really big thanks to the Inglewood Fire Department.
Yes.
The Charlotte County Fire Department was out there also as standby, but they never got within 100 yards, so I never got a chance to meet those guys. But they got us off about a quarter mile in on the channel and hooked us off.
It was adventurous and crazy, and I think we both learned a lot from that. And yeah, it was.
Mistakes are the best teachers.
Yeah.
We get the boat pulled and gotta drop the rudder. The rudder's bent pretty hard to the left, or to the port side, and it's bent up also, so hopefully we can get it fixed and it doesn't cause us too much time off the water, but we'll see what it does. We can't really tell until we get it out of the water. I mean, I can see it's bent horribly, but that's about all I can see at this point. So when we get it out, we'll be able to tell if we can repair the shaft or
Hummer's loving it. Hummer's like, whee! Bentley just pooped on Brendan's cushion a minute ago. He looks like he's feeling much better. Oh. And it would be on camera too, so.
That's not works on camera.
Haven't we all?
So they're about to pull our boat out of the water, which I've never seen, so I'm going to make a little video of that. There's Brandon making sure everything goes well. And there's our boat, and this is crazy how they just pull it out of the water. All of a sudden the sailboat looks really tiny next to that humongous lift that they're about to put it on. This is really cool. Can't really see it just yet, but it does look like it's pretty bent, I think. Oh, I just heard Brendan say it's not as bad as I thought it would be. So that is pretty fantastic news, I think. See a little closer, see what I can. Is it as bad as you thought?
We'll see. Back up only. Good, you can see it back there.
Yeah.
Okay, back up. Yeah, just lift the back slings only. Good. Alright, now you can bring those up.
So there's about time going up. There it goes. Bye-bye. See you later. See you later. Hopefully we can fix you soon and get back on the water. Alright, so the boat was pulled up and Brendan's now going to tell us a little bit more about what he thinks the damage is.
Our stainless steel rudder shaft is bent pretty hard. You can see right here, Leila, you look up there.
Yeah.
So you can see the front side of it is actually flattened from the bend. And yeah, I'm not really sure if it's going to straighten out. Well, I'm going to check a few local sources to try to possibly find a one off of a dead hunter. And then I'm going to also get a quote from a drive axle shop about straightening it. But whichever one's the cheapest, we'll probably go with.
Just kind of go from there. Yeah,
if the replacement is only a little bit more, I just get it because there's a chance that the straightening won't work. If the shaft isn't perfectly straight where it goes through the boat, it'll leak. It won't seal properly. So that's something to consider. But from what I've done some research and I've understood that many to most hunters have a bent back keel because the keel actually sits. Rudder. I was saying keel, but the keel is actually about this deep, and the rudder sticks down another 2 to 4 inches below the keel. So,
just a very wonderful design.
Well, also we were in big swells last night when we hit, so we hit in the troughs of waves. So when you're down like this on the boat, you're coming up like this, you hit on the butt. So it doesn't. Even if it was a little higher, we probably still would have hit.
Yeah.
But
it was good time.
Yeah, so we just got to get this sucker out and see how bad it really is, and start checking on costs for replacements, and have a few people look at it and see if they feel they have a crack at fixing it or have a chance at.
Brendan's under a boat right now, mind you. Actually, under the boat.
Yeah, this is like a way overkill traveler lift. I'm not too worried. I think it's like a 100,000-pound lift, and we got
9.
I mean, 100-ton lift, and we have 5
9,000.
tons.
Oh, 5. Oh, wow. Yeah, I think we're safe. Cool. All right. Thank you for explaining all these technical things to us.
By the tone of my voice, check out my new